Hey you guys, what is up? A few days ago I made a post on Snapchat and I asked some of my Snapchat friends what I should make a YouTube video about. They said that I should make a YouTube video about a story time. I thought for a little bit about what a good story is to tell for the whole public to see, possibly the whole world to see. I have gone through quite some interesting things, I would say, and I'm going to be telling you guys a story about the time that my ex-boyfriend hacked my phone. And I don't mean like he hacked my Snapchat, I don't mean like he hacked my Instagram, nothing like that. I mean like my phone disconnected. I woke up and it was off. It was just a whole big ordeal. So I'm filming this on my phone, so if the quality is bad, I am sorry. I am purely making this for entertainment. I'm not going to use anyone's names. So there are quite a few names that you need to follow up with because it's kind of a hard story to follow. So this story takes place back in like 2016, 2015 type of time. I was in my 8th grade year and it was, I think like August. I had been in this relationship for a year now. It was actually the longest relationship that I've ever had. Some backstory on what happened, and we're gonna call my ex-boyfriend Cheese. And if you guys want a video on why I call him Cheese, you can comment and ask for that because I think it's fucking hilarious. He just reminds me of cheese. And then we're also gonna talk about another ex-boyfriend that I have, and we're gonna call him Bubbles. And then we're gonna be talking about another girl that's involved, and we're gonna call her Ratchet. And then we're gonna talk about another girl that's involved, and we're gonna call her Witch. So I was dating Cheese for, I don't know, like maybe a year, and things that summer really fell off with us, as you can imagine. We were in 8th grade. He was actually a little bit older than me, and I don't know if that has any weight to it, but he was a little bit older than me. We ended up having some relationship problems because he ended up cheating on me with Ratchet. I will get back to that. She comes back into the story and to go see his friends in some fucking town that he lived in, and apparently while he was there he hooked up with Ratchet, and he told me that he hooked up with Ratchet while he was there. So me and him broke up. This was like at the beginning of August 2015, like the beginning of August 2015, and school started around like the beginning of September. I think it was like September 1st or whatever, like sometime that week. Me and Bubbles had reconnected over, I don't fucking know, like Instagram. So after me and Bubbles had connected, so it was like, okay, when school starts, we can talk, or, you know. Telling some of my friends this too. I was like, me and my ex-boyfriend, like da 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 da. You know, I've kind of always had a thing for Bubbles. He was like my first love, you know, whatever. So I was kind of excited about it. Somehow, there's another girl. The Witch finds out about this. Witch is very close with Cheese, and I don't know why. No one really liked Cheese, and we'll get into that later. So she found out that I was talking to Bubbles. She freaked out and basically told Cheese. And this is when shit really hits the fan. He was like, everything was like basically normal until school started. I hadn't really like talked to him. He hadn't really messaged me, and we didn't have each other on social media or anything. And then school starts. And I remember like the first bad thing that happened, kind of how I knew that like he was pissed at me. He was like, I don't like you anymore, like we need revenge, like whatever. A really long time he texted me and he was like, I fucking hate you, you know, you're a hoe, all this stuff. Like he just freaked out. I didn't really care, and neither did Bubbles really. No one really cared because he had cheated on me, so we broke up. And so I just wasn't taking him seriously, and I just blocked him. I think on iMessage, that's how I get rid of people. I just blocked them. I'm like, fuck you. But everything was like going okay, you know, for a few days. Everything seemed normal, you know, besides that one angry text. Everything was still normal. And then me and Bubbles kind of stopped walking to class together. Like we were still like, you know, talking or whatever, but he just stopped walking me to all my classes. And That is when Cheese started following me to all my class. He would start trying to talk to me every single time that I was about to get inside my class. Ask people like where I was. He would make Witch text me and try to be like, where are you right now? Are you at a guy's house? Like just all this like weird, crazy stalker type things. I was totally not feeling it. Crazy, like you gotta back up off me. So later that week I go and I stay the night at my old best friend Brianna's house. And then everything was normal that night, and me and her ended up going to bed. I don't know, probably around like midnight or something. It was a weekend. I wake up and my phone is like charging at the end of her bed. So I go to check my phone and it's like completely like off, like it won't turn on. So I get really confused for a second, and then it starts like flashing on like it was shut off, and then it turned back off on its own. And then it was just acting hella weird, and I thought that my phone was just broken. So I started looking at my phone and I was like, what the hell is going on with my phone? And then I realized that I was completely logged out of my phone. Completely. Somehow I woke up and my phone said, welcome to iPhone. This is cheese, bro. I was so mad. Like, you guys have no idea. It's funny to talk about now because like it's not a big deal, but I was so mad. I was like, why? I heard about him knowing like how the dark web works and how to hack phones, and I heard him talk about weird stuff that like I didn't actually think that he was ever gonna do that to me. And Brianna wakes up eventually and she was like, what's wrong? And I was like, dude, my phone got hacked. So I obviously knew my Apple information and I just signed back in with my account and everything was gonna be okay. But even though I signed in with my account, I didn't have anything. Didn't have anything that I had on my phone saved. It was like I was in the same phone, but like everyone had deleted everything. Everyone had just wiped out all my apps, all of my pictures and everything. That I did always back my pictures up, and I did put them in the iCloud or whatever. And I did back a lot of stuff up, and I was missing all of my photos, all of them. So at this point, I was pissed. I was like, someone hacked my phone, someone got my information somehow, someone deleted everything, or you know, saved it to their phone, like I don't know. And I knew that it was Cheese. Yeah, there was no other person that would have wanted to do that type of thing to me. I had been making complaints about Cheese like just that week before. I was like going to the principal and I was like, he's bugging me. I know he's following me to my classes. Like, he really hacked into my phone. And since I was having phone problems for a little bit and I was freaking out in the morning, I was freaking out, you guys. And I got on my friend Brianna's phone, and then I texted him from her phone. He was texting me, and at first Cheese was acting all, he was like, I know what you're talking about. I would never do anything like that. I knew that he was capping. No one else on this planet has ever talked about knowing how to hack a phone, at least that I knew of. Literally no one else would want to do this to me. So I was kind of like interrogating him myself, and I was like, it's over, like I'm making a police report. I don't care. You're crazy. They already know that you've been following me in my classes. I was, you know, I was like really hitting them with that. At that point, he had just given up on trying to act innocent. Okay, you're right. I did. I'm sorry. It was immature of me. And it was, and I knew that I was right because, as I said before, he was crazy as fuck. I was just in pure shock. I was like, why? That's literally all I could say, you guys. I was like, why? I was like, I just wanted to see the messages that you and Bubbles were talking about. Just when you think that he can't do anything more than he's already done. Signed back into my phone. I changed my passwords to everything, you know, yada, yada, yada. On my Instagram one day. And then someone with the username Bubbles, like 42 underscore something, messaged me. The exact same name as my boyfriend's name at the time. They were saying, I don't want to be with you anymore, I lost my phone, and that's why I haven't been texting you. To this day, I don't really know how they knew that Bubbles hadn't been texting me that day, but they also didn't know that he was just working, or he was like outside working, doing chores. I don't really remember. They knew that Bubbles hadn't been texting me. And then right away, again, you guys, like, I knew that it was cheese. Like, yo, you gotta stop on your crazy shit. If he's already signed into my phone, like, does he have my information? Like, did he double my phone? At this point, you know, it's like crazy talking about this, because this is like the type of stories that you feel like happen to people, but they don't happen to you. I would have never thought in a million years that someone would hack my phone, but it still happened. Tripping over your ex, hacked your phone, crazy ass. And I was still on the spectrum of like, this is scary, I don't like this. Just make complaints to the school like basically every day about cheese. I hated cheese. I'm pretty sure if I went back and like went through like the files, or like if my reports were like recorded, it would just like just for straight 6 months, just cheese, like all about him. And I just hated him. He got expelled because he wasn't allowed to be within a 10-foot radius of me, and he came in a 10-foot radius of me. And he also made derogatory comments towards me, which ultimately got him expelled. And yeah, you guys, that is my story time. I had a crazy ass ex, and he hacked my phone while I was asleep, and also tried to pretend to be my boyfriend and break up with me, and then also ended up getting expelled from my school. I have tons of other stories. No idea, like my life has been just not like a bad life, just like a really, you know, eventful life. Some of my story times, I will warn you, are kind of sad. I can make light about this because, you know, no one got hurt, like I just had a crazy ex, you know, whatever. But some of my story times are actually pretty sad, but they're pretty interesting stories. If you guys want me to like leave you a few ideas of like what I'm talking about, I can leave a few in the description, and comment below and tell me if you want to hear those story time videos. I hope this was interesting or entertaining to you on some level. Also keep myself from not going crazy. I will leave all my socials below because I'm not famous, but follow me and I might follow you back.